couple of people have asked me what do I think about the loon situation.
If there's no chili on board, I would get really upset.
So that was you telling the boss all the time, let's go to Alaska.
Yeah. How could they be better guests? That's an interesting question.
Yeah. What, am I getting fired? Or that guy? So a couple of the questions we've got, we're just going to read out.
First one is, what's the most unique or unusual guest request that you've ever received? From
a captain, the most unique or unusual. I guess we could all answer from our different departments, really. You know, for me as a captain, it was I want to see a monkey, but it was on a helicopter. So she got on board years ago in Panama, and she woke up and you could hear the monkeys. And she's like, I want to see a monkey, I want to see a monkey. But she wanted to see it from the helicopter. And we just thought that was the strangest thing, because the helicopter makes so much noise and the monkeys would always disappear. But every day for about 4 days, she'd do the same thing. Get on the helicopter, I want to see a monkey. Yourself, Stephan?
Just with our recent charter that we had, one of the charter guests came to me and says, well, we were on the swim platform and we was looking inside the lazarette and then into the control room and then straight on from there into the engine room, and he was bending over and he's like, am I allowed to go in there? I said, of course, sir. So you are. I said, why do you ask that? He says, because on a plane you can't go into the cockpit no more. And I know that's a dangerous area. So can I go in there? I said, by all means. I almost led him by the hand. And I showed him down in the control room, in the engine room and everything. And he was astonished at what he could see. And he said, it's the best day of his life for 2024. And that's something that will always stick with me.
Oh, good. And yourself, Sam, what's something, because you get a lot more guest requests, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the one that sticks with me was in my first year of yachting, and the guests asked specifically for a bowl of pomegranates, but the pomegranates had to be of certain clarity. So they couldn't be a dark clarity, they had to be certain you could kind of see through it. And we had to pick off the little white bits on the end of each and every pomegranate. Then we had to wash the pomegranates in rose water and in Fiji water as well, and serve it to this guest. It took probably, I don't know, 2.5 hours to make a small bowl of pomegranates.
So we've got another question that's coming up quite a lot on social media, and a couple of people have asked me what do I think about the loon situation, and it's a very sensitive topic, but I'm a big believer in having the sensitive topics in life. And I haven't discussed it with the crew very much. I'm not asking you for anything at all, but for me personally, it's a tragedy what's happened, and I think it's important that we let the information with the professionals come to life, which is through the investigation and so forth. So that's kind of my topic, is just let it be, let the professionals do the investigations, let the lawyers work it out, and just all your prayers to the loon crew, because they're a beautiful group of people.
What is one item you can't live without on board?
For me, probably my mask and fins. Yeah, I've travelled probably 24 years now in yachting. I left home at 18 and I've always had a pair of mask and fins. It's just me. If something happens, I'm meant to go down with the ship, but I've got my mask and fins and I'll be able to swim somewhere.
Yeah.
The crew can be safe and I'll be in an island in Indonesia with my mask and fins. That's my theory. Yourself, Chief, what about you?
In my past life, I used to do volunteer work on an ambulance service.
Okay.
And I realized the essential small little items that you need in case you get into a medical situation that you need to get yourself out of when there's no one else around. So ever since that, I've bought myself a small little box, and I've got all the essential first aid stuff in there, like a pair of tweezers, a scalpel, some band-aids, a flashlight, and that type of goods. And I'm inseparable from that thing. Everywhere I go, that little puppy goes with me.
Mine is just easy. It's chili. If there's no chili on board, I would get really upset.
I think we have our own special jar for Sam, and it's just pure chili. And as soon as someone else touches it, we're like, oh, Sam, don't use the last
How many days till land? Can I stretch it out?
All right, what's another question we've got asked?
Just what is your favourite destination you've travelled to while working on yachts?
I think, I don't want to say because we're going there, but I love Solomon Islands and the Pacific. That is just heaven, but it's so far remote. Second would be Alaska. I've done Kodiak Island, the Aleutian Chain in Alaska, and I love Juneau and I love the Inside Passage, but Kodiak Island, Alaska, and the Aleutian Chain and the people that live there, and then the nature and the bears and the salmon and the boats that go and hunt for the different animals, and it's very independent. So I'd say Kodiak Island, Alaska.
Nice, that's exciting. We
What are you,
to go
Chief?
there
Yeah.
I've been to Alaska as well before, but on a cruise line with my wife, and I fell in love with the place. We were in Juneau, Ketchikan, and a couple of the ice glaciers up north, and just the clarity and the cleanliness and the fresh air that you can breathe there. It just literally made me fall in love with that place, and I think that's my favorite destination. If I ever have to move somewhere and I have an option to go, I'll move to Alaska.
So that was you telling the boss all the time, let's go to Alaska.
Yeah.
Let's go to Alaska.
So thank you.
What about you? What about you, Sam?
I think Indonesia.
Okay.
But I also think wherever you go, it's the experience and where the yacht goes, right? Because I know lots of Australians go to Bali, but where we went was so secluded, there was nobody there. It was
Whereabouts?
untouched. Just these tiny little islands. We went around Komodo Island, we went up to Raja Ampat, but all of the places that we went to, you could not see a single person.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty, is when your office is a yacht and you come outside on your break and you think, wow, this is where I am.
Well, just recently we did a charter, US Virgin Islands and British Virgin Islands, and very busy, yachts everywhere, if you remember. But we had, most of our days, we picked anchorages that were pretty remote.
Yeah.
And it was for Christmas and New Year's and BVI's and US Virgin Islands. We had really special times with our guests because no one else was there.
Yeah.
I think it was in the St. Croix down there, in Buck Island, and there was no yachts there in St. Croix. And great diving, great water sports, beautiful area, and just unbridled.
Yeah,
And
no,
Christmas
exactly.
Cove, just unbridled, And Coral Bay.
When were we in Christmas Cove?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Lucky, I guess.
That was
Lucky,
very
lucky, I guess. And even Coral Bay and the East of St. John, no yachts go there. And it's like, you don't always have to go to the same spots as every other yacht.
Yeah.
The owners want intimacy and remoteness, so.
What is it like getting into the whole Q&A live situation when you haven't done it before? Because you guys all seem like you're naturals.
I don't know, we got to ask questions.
It's
every day.
frightening. I'm telling you, it's frightening.
It's frightening.
Because you don't know what to answer. Is there a right answer, a wrong answer, or a no answer? I don't know.
I don't know, it's kind of just like we're chatting here,
Yeah.
Like we're sitting in the bridge on watch having a chat, so I don't know, I think that's maybe why.
I think they do it every day. As heads of department, they're quite mature people. You work with an employee. I understand for junior crew, what may not feel comfortable for them, or cameras or guests. Once you have so many years in yachting, like Sam and Stephan and myself, you get comfortable with the unusual questions for guests. You get comfortable with the cameras, and that's just with experience. So for me, I don't mind it. I don't mind, it's like me underwater diving, showing people stuff on the surface. Believe it or not, I'm not a real talker. I'm quite a private, quiet person, but I believe
Really?
but when it comes to yachting, this is the
It's
business.
your job, right?
It's my job. I put the
And-
uniform on, and the boss wants results, and my job's to get results, and that's what we're here for as a crew, as a team.
So there's a lot of questions and answers for crew side of things. What about guests? Like, what should they be more aware of when they step on board a charter yacht? How could they be better guests?
How could they be better guests? That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
Let's flip it around a little.
I think on the front end, the more information they give us, like we work with great brokers, and the best brokers are the ones that supply more information and transparency. We've got 3 charters coming up, and all of the brokers I'm working with are phenomenal, and they're really communicating with the owners and the clients well. They're communicating with the crew well. They're engaging in what the guests are after. So by the time the charter happens, we're forearmed, it's forewarned. So we're ready when the charter starts. So from a guest, just really communicate with the charter broker what your needs are, what you want to do.
I 100% agree with that, because it gives us time then to prep and prepare to make the most amazing experience possible on board. If we know it last minute, it's, we'll get there, but it's so much nicer for us to be prepared and confident in what we're delivering to guests.
Proper preparation prevents performance.
And you, Chief, what do you?
I think
You don't
a lot
want
of-
guests. Don't press the buttons.
Don't press the buttons. I think there's a lot of guests that want to go on adventures, and to be adventurous, you cannot communicate everything that you want to do, because a lot of the adventurous side will be left up to the captain and to the crew to start and make an adventure for them while they're on board. Say for instance, you go to a small little island and say, hey, I discovered this and this and this about this little island. You want to go ashore and maybe go explore it. And that's something that they would never think of before, but at least it gives another step up for them on their adventure, and whatever they have planned, there's some highlights that stand out for them that we can, as crew, can also take care of.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. It's the information we get is what we can use. Like someone on the next charter wants to do surfing. So my question is, what size board, what size experience, how can we cater to what level of surfer you are? And that goes through everything. You know, what they like wine. What styles of wine do you like? You know, we can't get all wines in Costa Rica. So 3-4 months before the charter, we need to purchase, we need to store it accordingly. So when we're ready for the charter, we can have a nice Burgundy, or we can have a nice rosé from the south of France, rather than offering American style wines, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So with the charter guests.
You guys are used to more experienced charter guests. What about those charter guests who are unaware of super yachting, and how do they get involved? What are the steps that they need to take?
Yeah, come to a boat show, meet the crew, meet the brokers, meet the...
There
What's all about?
so many people there to ask questions to.
Yeah, brokerage houses. There's so many tours we do, but they're generally brokers and not really end users. But if I was looking at chartering a yacht, I'd go to Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, Antigua Charter Show,
Monaco Yacht Show.
Monaco Yacht Show, you know, Miami Yacht, you know, just go to those boat shows, see what you're after. Because so many times they'll board a yacht and they'll say, well, I thought you had this. And you're like, well, I would have liked to known you wanted that and that could help me. But now it's almost too late. You know, if their expectations are a full, you know, ice bath, for example. You know, I've had that request. So if we get an ice bath on board, we can make the jacuzzi an ice bath. But to know that in advance, we could have catered a bit better. You know?
And in the last few years, what are requests that you're seeing coming up, such as the ice bath? What else is coming up that wasn't coming up beforehand?
Wellness for me, I mean, I've done this 24 years and it was all about adrenaline, dive, fishing. Now it's more about wellness. It's about the balance you can find from a culinary perspective, from an interior perspective, the energy that's given back from the interior staff, also the yoga that Sam offers, and that wellness aspect and having time off for the kids. So it's not just about the burn them out, give them the best time they can. It's about giving them a balance of an understanding of the environment and the wellness. So.
And bonding.
And bonding, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely bonding with the crew. I think the charter guests really enjoy learning a little bit more about you and getting to know who you're living with on a boat for 7 to 14 days or a month.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, Unbridled really caters to the longer charters. I don't know why. I think it's got to do with the crew as well, that we're quite comfortable in what we're doing. We don't just want to do the standard charter. We don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
But we like the challenges and we like the opportunity to develop a relationship with the clients that lasts year after year. And we get to know their families. We've got, I think, 3 clients that are really good long charter period repeat clients. And they choose to spend some of the most important days of their lives on board, and we have to really every year step it up.
Yeah, that's it. It's harder for return charter.
Yeah.
You've got to do something different.
Yeah, and we do. Like this last year, the 3rd season, we've had these charter guests, and it's emotional because they that was the best. And I was like, whew, that was the plan. That was the plan. You know, done and dusted. That was the plan, but it's not easy to execute a plan better than you've already done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that is.
So how do you do what
challenge.
you've already done better the next time? And that's you know.
I believe that one of the crucial things is that us as crew need to function as a family. The way that we as a crew talk to each other, interact with one another, and how we communicate, and you know, especially under stressful situations, because sometimes when you're on charter, you do experience stressful situations, and how we talk to each other during that time makes a big impact on the charter and the charter guests as well, because they can immediately feel if there's stress between the crew members, and then that stress can translate onto them, and that might cause a situation that they don't really want to be in our area where we are. So I think it's very important that us as crew need to be a family, because if we are not a family, it can't work as a team, as a unity, then it's not going to translate good onto the charter guests. And I think thus far we've aced it around each and every corner. I think we're
There is a
very
great
good
family
team.
vibe on
Yeah.
Unbridled, and that's crucial. I got a question here from Captain Bobby, who says, can you guys touch on emerging charter locations? Captain Bobby, you missed the earlier part of this Q&A, but could you guys discuss any emerging charter locations? Ones that you're going to, and also ones that you see popping up around the world?
Yeah, I mean, Cocos Island off Costa Rica, Panama, Sandblast, Colombia we just did this last year, which is unique. Canada is really an untapped for me. A lot of people, they think they hear of Canada and know of Canada, but because of the charter licenses, to do Canada properly, you need a charter license, which we're working on. But Canada's stunning.
You've moved to Canada recently.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold in winter. But it's in summer in the cruising regions, it's stunning. Bredor Lakes on the east coast and St. John and Newfoundland. But Iceland's opening up with international airports, Greenland, Greenland's opening up. Yeah, so.
I went to Seychelles on my first boat,
West.
which it was absolutely beautiful. I didn't even know where it was. I wouldn't have been able to point it to you on a map before going there. But there was hardly anybody there. It was only retired couples and honeymooners, I think. But yeah, it was nice. Whale sharks, good diving.
There's plenty in the world. People say it's all done. Like for me, I probably haven't gone home to my hometown of Byron because it's not all done for me. There's so many places I still want to see, and I've been there a lot, but there's still so much more.
Have you done the Red Sea, Carol?
Yeah, done the Red Sea. But that's great diving. But Roatan's great diving. It's
so much.
But also, like even this last charter, U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix, I loved it the other day. Buck Island, St. Croix, and on the west of St. Croix. Have to pick the weather, but it's just stunning. Plus, I'm happy here, just sitting at anchor right now.
I think there's a lot of diving opportunities in Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba as well, and then also in Barbados, because a couple of years ago I was on a boat down there as well, and we did quite a lot of diving in our personal capacity, not as part of the boat. And I must say, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao really got good diving areas as well. So it's nice going down there as well.
Just get on a yacht. That's the key. Good question, Captain.
Got another question from ASC SXM Photography, and he asks, what does it take to become a content creator on a yacht?
No idea.
What I'm doing right
There we go.
Ask Alex. No, the best thing I've ever heard. We had some great social media seminars back in September. September. The social media seminar was October or September.
Yeah.
It was September after the charter show. But that really opened my eyes to the level of skill that people have in that space. So it's a skill. It's a profession. It's not something like, you see me, I have fun. I do my thing. That's my style, but I don't know what I'm doing to a level that has any quantifiable credit.
You just started. I have to give you credit, Cap. First thing is take an interest in it. Next thing is take the gear and then just start shooting.
Yeah, but it's like anything for me. I did it for a year. I love it, and now I'm learning AI and different challenges that I've personally got. But I think to answer the question, it's who was it? Naughty Style said the ABCs: always be creative. Always be creating.
ABS
always
is
be
another one. ABS, always be shooting.
Always be shooting. Always be capturing.
This is what I do, and now I'm on Unbridled. It's very exciting.
Always be capturing.
I think everyone is creative in their own way.
Yeah.
So it's just about, my personal Instagram is private. I'm not out there. And then I joined this boat and actually I'm good at taking photos.
You are really good.
Yeah.
You're really good.
It's just using the creativity that everybody has and putting it into a media online platform,
Yeah,
I guess.
True. So.
And Liam, you're very good at that. Cap,
Stephan, you're quite a big content creator. You're doing all the big production stuff. What do you have to say?
I tried to be. Liam threw me into the deep end, and I really appreciate you doing that, because that's the only way that certain people learn that way, and that's how I learn. Throw me in the deep end, I will sort myself out, and that's what I'm doing. He supported me in getting decent equipment that we have currently on board, and with decent equipment you can put out something decent there.
Yeah, true.
You don't need the top end stuff. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. You can spend the basic and get some decent equipment that you can get yourself going with. And I've also, as Sam, I've also got a personal Instagram account, which I haven't used for very long, and now I've also got a professional one, the Big Blue Engineer.
Oh,
so I'm
nice.
going to try and do some content on the Big Blue Engineer and take it from there and see if it can grow and collaborate with the boat and where we're going to Costa Rica and Alaska, and hopefully we can build something good there.
Yeah, it's good. It's educational. For me, it's educational. You know, my passions are the ocean conservation and crew, you know, mental health, but crew in general, not so much the different aspects of, you know, the mental health, but it's crew. And looking after crew is the backbone of this industry, and the more we do it, I think the better the industry will get. But yeah, I think content's just, it's all about just being yourself, I guess, and creating it. If it works, it works. It doesn't
That's
really,
it.
it's, you know, it's, what's that movie?
Persistence is key, and interest is a big one. You've got to be interested in shooting.
Yeah, and learning the different skills. I mean, it's a whole, like I said, it is a skill set. It's a profession, 100% for me. The more I've learnt about it, the more I realise how much of an iceberg in education it is to get to any form of quantifiable level. And what you're at, what people like Naughty Styles, and even what Loon's done, and all these different other platforms, King Benji, the crew on that, what they've created is phenomenal. What we've created on Unbridled is, I'm really proud of it, but it's just been fun. It's been no real strategy, as you know, Alex. It's more about just really showing people what we have. And what we have is a beautiful crew and a beautiful yacht and a good owner and a good charter company that supports us, you know, Northrop and Johnson. And then when bringing you into it, that's what really showed us the potential of what it could be, you know?
You guys have been very enthusiastic about it, and that's what's also very important. Another question here from Thomas Kilpin. Will you ever come down to South Africa as a destination?
Cruising destination.
Yeah.
Tough waters. I mean, tough waters. Big oceans.
Cold water.
Yeah, but just the swell. Just the swell. You know what I mean? They're big oceans like Australia on the South Australia. It's tough cruising grounds. So to put a 7-day itinerary together, it is ignorant and naive, but it's a long way to go for a tough 7 days. So you need owners that are committed to 2-3 weeks or 10 days. But then you've got Mauritius and Madagascar, and you've got some beautiful areas to the east. But, I mean, what do you think, Chief? You're from there.
Definitely. I think the only thing that South Africa lacks is a lack of decent marinas that actually boats can go to.
Yeah.
You know, other than Cape Town, where there's a commercial dock, you can go to a commercial dock in Cape Town. There's one in Durban as well, but it's also, again, it's just commercial. There's no places like Yacht Haven or Crown Bay around here. There's nothing like that really in South Africa. So the infrastructure is not really there, but then there's ways and means that you can work around it. So you can go to Cape Town and use it as a base, for instance, and then go to other destinations, but you'll have to be on anchor for the majority of the time. As you've said, there's also a lot of the weather conditions and the sea conditions. It's not as calm as it is down here.
You get very windy.
It gets extremely windy, and the swells are extremely bad down there. So I guess there is a market for it, but you will have to have the right boat, the right commitment, the right owner, and then at least the right itinerary as well.
Great. Another question from Jonica Ellis. What qualifications would be best to invest in as a stewardess to make a successful career and then one day becoming a chief steward?
Ooh. Great question.
I think that it's so hard knowing, well, when you're getting into stewardessing, I guess is the most important question, because if you're coming in fresh, that's one thing. If you're coming in, you know, in your mid-20s or late 20s, you've hopefully are using what you've done previously to add to stewardessing. But if you're just starting as a young 18, 19-year-old, I would honestly get into a bar. Get into a bar, work with guests, learn how to mix drinks, not just a mixology course, but actually learning how to mix drinks under pressure.
And manage the bar.
Yeah. Going into hotels, learning how to, you know, really clean and make beds quickly, fast, turnovers, that sort of thing, because the industry is flooded with so many new crew, which is fantastic, but how do you stand out? It's usually experience. And how do you get experience? You know, when you're trying to get on a boat, go do those shore side things that will really help you on the boat.
Fantastic. All right.
Great question.
So I guess it's time to wrap up. Is there anything else you guys wanted to leave with?
to say thank you to our illustrious leader that we have here. It's not been easy working with him, but it's been a pleasure. I find it exhilarating working with a person like Liam.
I appreciate it, Chief.
He's been really
very emotional.
No worries. He's been really
What, am I getting fired?
a guiding light, in times when you don't know which direction to run with. And him and I sometimes have some really deep conversations on the bridge about family life and yacht life and where we're going with this and what are we going to do with that. And I like the way that he employs participative management, and I think Sam can also testify to that. And it makes just a great boat and great family to work with.
Oh, well said, Chief. Well said, yeah. I mean, like yesterday I came back from 3-4 days off with my family in Orlando, and I came to the bridge, and it was hilarious. There's like crew testing fire stuff, other crew doing itineraries, but there was 4 or 5 crew here on the bridge, and they're all having a good time. They're all doing their jobs, looking at the passage to Panama, looking at the fire safety list, doing their checks, but they were engaging with each other, they were laughing, there was no stress, there was no animosity, there was no egos. And that's the most important form of success for me, is that crew are safe and crew are comfortable, because that's owners see it, guests see it.
Yeah.
And you go to remote areas, like we're at anchor now. It's easy to sit at a dock for a week and not talk to someone else, but you're at anchor by yourself, and you got to figure it out. Sam's doing yoga in the morning. I can't be up there, doing weights or whatever. You got to figure it out. You got to do it together.
Got to do something.
Yeah, but that's it. Just look after the crew you got. That's all. It's the most important part of the boat.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for all those who tuned in.
Thanks.
Oh, I just